Hello and welcome to Knife Delights. It's time for another 3 for Thursday. That's an open tag started by that lovable, affable, and always jolly Irishman, Patty from Patty's Potato Peelers. Hey Patty, thanks for the open tag. Sure have a lot of fun. Well, today I thought I would show 3 knives that are from what I would consider to be defunct companies. And just to clarify, we have a lot of companies out there that, they're U.S. operations. They closed their doors and then somebody bought the name and they're still making it under that name. But these are companies that, as far as I know, in no way, shape, or form exist today. So and I've shown all 3 of these knives before, but every now and then it's fun to pull them out again and just have a second look at it. Here's an interesting one here. This is from Hibbard, Spencer, and Bartlett. It's the Model 101, and it's a 2-bladed jackknife. And as you can see, it's got them really nice bone covers. And we'll take a shot at the tang stamp there. See if that'll come through. This company has a very interesting history. It was started back in the early 1800s and roughly around 1855, and was kind of in business until 1960. And it was a hardware store, basically, and they were out of Chicago. The company was originally named Hibbard and Spencer, but Adolphus Bartlett started employment as a janitor, and in 1882 he joined the firm. Can you believe it? Starts out as a janitor, works hard, and then becomes part owner and gets his name added to the company. So, Hibbard, Spencer, and Bartlett has some other interesting things going on. In 1932, the True Value brand was introduced. And yes, this company ended up being, or was the origins of True Value hardware. Isn't that interesting? Now, I like to bring up knives like this because think of the Craftsman knives and maybe other hardware store change. Today, we have Menards, and I've shown the kind of the Menards budget line. And we kind of think of them as, just hardware store knives, not the best. But, a lot of hardware stores had their own line. It's pretty interesting. Now, they kind of believe that HSB had their knives made by Ulster, perhaps Camillus, New York Knife, and possibly even Schrade. So they didn't manufacture them themselves, but they had them contracted. So, today's house brand knife is tomorrow's little gem, and a nice find. Yeah, oh yeah, look at that. Look at that backspacer there. All fancied up. This was a pretty fancy knife in its day, it looks like. Still in good shape, although, the blades have been used. Alrighty, let's take a look at another one here. This one is a Henry Sears and Son. Sears and Son. No relation that I know of to the Sears of Sears and Roebuck. And hold on just a minute, let me get my notes out. So what we're looking at here is an equal-ended Stockman, and it has a clip point blade right there with that really long nail pull there. And what else we got here? We got a spay blade right here, and as you can see, it's been used. And then an awl or a punch, but the tip is broken on it. Right there. I believe these to be micarta covers. Just a brilliant deep red. You can see the swirls in there. You got the easy access here in order to get to the blade. Bombshell shield there. And the covers are pinned on. We look over here, we got brass liners. And I think on the Tang stamp, it says 1865. And that's not a model number. That's the year the company was founded. So, Henry Sears, I believe, originally started making knives in Prussia. And, German makers used American-sounding names in order to sell their knives. Now, I believe that he ended up in Chicago and started making his knives in Chicago. And there's an older Tang stamp which includes Prussia on it. But, yeah. So him and his son started in, I believe, 1883 here in Chicago. Yep, Henry Sears and Son, equal-ended stockman. This one I showed just a couple months ago. This is just a beauty. This is a W.H. Morley & Sons sleeve board. Oh man, it's a sleeve board whittler. And look at that mother of pearl. It just glistens. Changes in color as you turn it. And I was watching a video the other day, and I think somebody said you just can't put a shield on mother of pearl because of the way the material is, you're not going to be able to put a shield on it. And I've always looked at this one, and it almost looks like it's a thin piece of, well, it's brass colored, gold colored, but almost like a piece of tinfoil, for lack of better words. Super very thin sticker, and then they laminate it over it. So that's pretty interesting. It's sharp looking. Yeah. So Morley was in business from 1913 to 1927. So I don't know what year this was made, but even if it was the last year, 1927, it makes this nearly 100 years old. Now, they were part of the Adolph Castor and Brothers company, and that company ended up buying Camillus in about 1901. So they had a connection to Camillus. Just a wonderful knife here. I can't believe how good a shape these mother of pearl covers are. They just glimmer. Of course, a little pen blade there. Yeah. Sorry, hard to see the nail nicks through the camera. There's your, looks like a, is that spear point or drop point? I don't know. It's got a swedge all the way down there. So I'm just not quite sure what it would be. Look at that swedge, that long swedge on there. Yeah. Just a beautiful old knife. Now, there's also on the reverse side there's that clover leaf on the Tang. And I'm not exactly sure what that stands for, but it has something to do to signify that this was a little higher quality of knife when it had that clover leaf on it. Yeah, so there you have it, folks. Nothing flashy, but I always think it's interesting. I love collecting these old knives, looking at the history of the companies. I just always wonder about the people behind them. And if they were alive today, what they could tell us about making knives back in the day. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this 3 for Thursday. Thanks again, Patty, for starting this wonderful open tag. And until next time, everyone have a very delightful day.